I'm sleeping deeply, baby. I'm dreaming, but I'm wide awake.
No, that's smooth, dude.
Boy, that's a little taste of what you'll hear at the outro of this podcast.
Outro. So don't fast forward, don't skip to the end. Just enjoy the whole podcast.
Enjoy the ride.
And then yeah.
What I'm saying.
What I'm saying.
We don't have the sample deck up, so we gotta do it with our mouth.
But we kick this episode off with some foreign slang.
Oh yeah, we did.
We did.
I didn't write that down.
We did.
Yeah, I feel like part 2 is better than part 1. We got more in depth, and actually, I texted Garrett the other day. This is one of the podcasts, not to hate on any of the other podcasts that we've done, but I've actually went back and listened to and like took some stuff in. You're grooving right now. Took some stuff in about that we talked about. Like I really went back and listened and internalized some of the stuff that we talked about, because it's stuff that I need to get better at as well.
Yeah, and we really expanded in like the importance of investing in your craft.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about too, because like I got to get myself personally, I think, a little more in check with exactly where my priorities are. So talking to someone like Garrett, that from the outsider's perspective, and a lot of people, when you're talking about them, they'll be like, oh, well, you don't really know everything. Like, of course, but from my perspective, he's doing a lot of the right things. So having friends also to be able to take those lessons from is awesome.
Yeah.
And, he brags on himself a lot in this episode. I'm just kidding. I just had to say that.
And we do go into some of the memories that we have that just kind of came along from our college days while we were talking about all of this.
And how to make waves in college.
Make those waves. And trying something different. And creating opportunity and networking.
That was a big part of this podcast.
Yeah.
Exactly how to get yourself out there, and, not exactly what to do, but how to go about doing the things.
Right. And also, you just kind of that making yourself uncomfortable is a key.
Like your first experience with LED wall graphics that we talked about.
Anything that ever helped me grow. Hey.
And a lot of the learning experiences of working with a team and like behind the scenes stuff too, we talked about in. And finally at the end, we got to talk about plugins.
We did, but before we talked about plugins, we did talk about the importance of legitimate critique.
Oh yeah,
because that's a big part.
Yeah, and getting knocked down a peg, actually
like
having.
Most did to Garrett on those podcast. No, I'm kidding.
No, but like Jake Lane did to me in college.
Yeah.
But it's important. I mean, you have to have that honest critique. You can't just have somebody saying, that you're great all the time. Yeah. That typical parent critique.
It don't work that way, no. Also,
you're liking this song.
Yeah, dude. To wrap this up, always a special thanks to our sponsors, Shaw Audio and Strong Body of Murfreesboro.
Strong Body.
And thank you guys.
Fam.
Yeah, keep it strong, fam.
Boy. And enjoy this episode. We hope that it serves you well on your Monday morning or whenever you're listening to it. Hopefully it's on Monday. If you don't know by now, we drop an episode every Monday.
Every Monday. Little respect.
What's happening?
Okay, so let's start this podcast and get all this on there.
Yeah.
So, if you're listening, this part 2
what I'm saying
of
Little Wrist Big Foot
with G
Money.
There it is.
We got it. Yeah, Garret Hayes. So
Amazing.
we were just talking about you having fun talking to your new brother-in-law.
Yeah, so
who is Austrian.
No, Australian.
He's Australian?
Big difference.
So actually I fucked up. Okay, he's from New Zealand. He's a Kiwi, and he lived in Australia for a little while.
Okay, yeah. So he's New Zealand. What do you call that?
Kiwi.
Oh, you said it. I just thought you were talking about a fruit. Sorry.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, but it's fun talking to him. His accent's awesome. And they gave me a deck of playing cards.
Yes.
That on every card it has a slang term from New Zealand and then the English translation.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, can you share some?
Not off the top of my head. I don't remember any of them. They were just different than anything I've ever heard. Like what they call the sandals was like jandals. Or something like that was one of them, but there was some phrases, and he does say it. He does say
the only letter we
that.
never put with andals in the
mandals,
candles,
vandals,
vandals, sandals.
Oh, that's good. I didn't think
Randalls.
Dusty like that one.
Shout out to Randall if he's listening.
Amazing.
That's good.
He said, "I don't know a Randall."
But yeah, it's fun talking to him and just hearing. I like his accent. It's cool.
Yeah,
super cool.
I met him
for me
once.
to try to imitate that is not good. So I'm not gonna try.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually,
don't.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, what were we talking about before that?
I don't. Well, tangent.
Yeah.
Tangent.
I think. I mean, before we broke
tan?
or what?
Oh, no.
I'm not tan. I'm pasty.
Yeah.
Pasty.
We just went through winter. Try to spice it up for
you know what
summer.
I'm saying? Trying to get in that tan
I know.
bed.
I wanted to ask you about your plugins.
Plugins, yeah,
I can't
plugins.
tell you.
I'm
I
gonna
can't
try
tell
to
you.
chime in as much as I can.
Dusty knows audio now.
A little bit.
No, he
Okay,
does,
he's studio manager.
But it's funny how much I
picking
can
up.
tell he's been hanging out with engineers
Picking
by
up.
the way he's been talking.
Mm.
And at like different phrases he uses, and I'm like, you've been hanging out with engineers for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I see you, Dusty.
That's what I said. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
It might be a mix of yeah.
All right, Cardi B. Okay.
Oh my.
I wish I could do that shit.
You
I
can't?
really wish. No.
Dude, I used to know. I read this thing online somewhere that said, you know, it was like an instructional thing that you wouldn't think would result into, you know, and it really worked. Like whatever they said to do.
So
Sorry, why don't I
try
go
this,
look this up?
try this, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh.
So the I was.
That's not bad. That was good. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Money.
What if you had to only talk like that? Anyway, sorry.
No,
Another
that'd be
tangent.
terrible. Yeah.
This happens all the time.
Plugins.
Yeah, plugins. So,
Ooh.
as
watch your feet.
Here, I
boy.
got you.
as
I
I
got
destroy things.
you. I got you.
My bad.
Plugins.
Plugins.
Oh,
Plugins.
still plugged in.
What is
How'd you cut the power?
What is this? What is happening?
That's on my face.
Okay.
I don't know why. I could just realize I could do that.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amaze balls. In a world.
Where?
Two men.
Yo, your chin has a
Wrist.
booty, Dusty.
Hey, I don't. I made it. I made it. Booty chin.
Those some cheeks, man.
Look like balls.
Yeah, they do.
Amaze balls.
Amaze balls. Okay. Anyway, plugins.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've been working with some of the Waves plugins. You've been working with some of the Slate plugins. Do you have any UAD plugins?
No.
Okay.
That would be my next plug-in investment, but my whole thing right now on audio stuff, as far as getting anything new,
Right.
unless I need it, especially for software, I'm not getting anything
Okay.
because I'm good with what I have for now.
Right.
If I upgrade, it would probably be like that. I don't know, probably like a quarter way to that big jump that you were talking about. Like I'd probably invest a few grand into something. If I was going to, it'd be something I would wait.
Every purchase you make from here on out needs to be a big step. Basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the way. Like, I was talking to Maccabee about this the other day, and he was like, "How do you get the money to like get all the things you have?" And I was like, "Well, I work all the time." And I was like, and I literally do not buy clothes for myself. Like, I don't buy shoes.
That's the key thing that I was talking about earlier. Everybody wants to be.
I don't go out to eat.
Do you know who Gary Vee is?
Yeah.
He says, all you motherfuckers are too fancy is what he always says. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Because it's just about like, you know, you're worried about what people are thinking about. Now, it's cool to have like okay stuff, like
for sure,
swaggy, whatever,
yeah.
but you don't have to spend a shit ton of money on it.
My parents give me nice clothes.
And you also, dude, I mean, it's just however it works, but you don't have to go out and take all your money that you have and spend it on what everyone's going to look at. new shoe and having the new thing,
right?
Which is also what everyone's going to look at. Because if you get the new iPhone and no one else has it yet, everybody's gonna be like, "You got the new iPhone?" That's what I do when people. When people got a new iPhone.
Yeah, I mean,
I get excited. I want to see it.
It's exciting, but yeah, I mean, the main thing is, I was like you
can't get caught up in it.
Yeah, if you look at my Amazon account, it's like every single purchase on there was made with the intent or to serve a purpose of some job that I currently do.
Right.
Like, I am not buying video games or, like buying movies or anything, like spending money going to see like my favorite artists. Like, I am not spending money on anything other than food at Kroger's, gas in my car, and new video and audio stuff. Like, yep. That's it.
Yep, and it goes back to being willing to invest, and that's why.
Because I'll make more money now.
A lot of people aren't willing to invest because they're like, I don't have the money for that. So you turn around and they pull up in a new car the next week. Yeah. Or they have a new pair of jeans on.
I mean, it's not even that. Or they show up to or they have like a 6-pack in their fridge every weekend. Yeah. You know, I mean, even something as simple as that. They're like, oh, I don't have the money for this or the time for this. It's like, you have everything. You know, that's why, you can do anything you want. It's the only person stopping you is yourself, because it's like, if you wanted to save a little bit more money, then you wouldn't buy that beer, or if you wanted to have a little bit more time, then you wouldn't play that video game. Mm-hmm. So it's, it's
and there's different circumstances.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice thing.
It is. It just outweighs, like, everybody has the same amount of time.
It's discipline.
Yeah. It's really a discipline
what it
thing.
Is. Definitely is.
Yeah. So, I mean, but the whole thing about spending money on or investing, I should say, is, my thought process is, if I can invest now while I have money to throw around because I'm working so hard, I would much rather get those things that are going to push my career further and let me get paid more now, because then later I'll be able to be accepting, hopefully, even more and more and more like high budget things, because I will have already been on the next level sooner. So it is a balance of having the right equipment to be professional and not being like, I can go shoot a cinematic movie on my 1990s Polaroid or something, and like strip the film together literally, and so that'd be so expensive, every single frame. That'd be funny. But it's a balance of having the professional equipment now and whatever.
I'm watching that process in my head right now. And
that's really how crazy that would be. You'd have to take
him being frustrated.
Every individual Polaroid shot of like this, print them out, wave them around, strip them together.
You're not supposed to do that.
Well,
Did you ever hear about that?
Depends.
Yes.
It depends.
Did you hear about that?
It depends on the type of ink within your certain.
Oh, okay.
Because some of them you gotta
and
give it a little. Some of them you're gonna ruin your picture if you do it.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I heard a good thing was you take the picture and you put it face down in the fridge. That's what I've heard. So,
what twat came up with that idea?
I don't know, but he's smart if it works. Why are you putting a picture in the fridge, dude?
I don't know.
Dude, it's got to develop, dude.
But because, okay, we're going to talk about what sensors are. Sensors are light burning onto an image. The way a camera captures an image is your shutter opens, light comes in, it hits your sensor, and it digitally burns that image onto your card.
So where's the fire?
It's a fire. That's what,
I said, Lord Jesus.
It's a fire for some. Some it's a smolder.
That's right.
Ran out of house with no shoes and nothing. Jesus.
So, anyways,
Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
Definitely invest in your gear sooner than later, because you'll be able to learn more with it.
Especially while you're in college.
Yeah, especially while you're in college and you have a little bit extra time.
Yeah. You have a lot of extra time, I think. And at least in my situation. And you also have a little bit more money to kind of, like, if you're working, you have more money to play with.
You have more money to play with, yes.
So, that's what like. Most of the stuff that I bought, yes, audio stuff, all in college.
Yeah. I mean, that's
most of
that's
it.
also why, like, my car is old and I live in a house where my average rent between all 4 of us is like $325. So, like,
What do you mean?
Like, they pay $325
there's 4 of
apiece.
us and their total rent is $1,280. So divide that by 4. It's like $320 is
Dude,
the,
that's legit.
right?
That's legit.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'll pay twice what you pay.
Right. So that's an extra $300 in my pocket every month that I could be saving.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I would much rather like.
But you
live...
put that towards equipment.
Oh yeah.
That's your whole point.
Yeah, that's my whole thing.
And people like
If
I
I
always found that hard. And then people were like, well, how am I gonna? Then they think about making that money back. That like they think, and also people don't get when you're in college, you can get like weird jobs. People like college hours and different shit.
One of my friends does trivia for
Dude,
a living. He goes and does 4-hour trivia games at different bars, and he gets paid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like
that's legit.
It's like a $50 an hour, or no, it's $20 an hour.
But see, even doing something like working a mellow mushroom, or something, you can get money. And then when if you're making that money, that's why I thought of it. If you're making that money from mellow mushroom, usually while you're in college, you can take that money and put it towards something. Rather than
I don't go on spring break trips
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like,
there's just a lot of different ways. Like, I always found it. I'm just saying, you don't have to make your money straight from. If I would have said I'm gonna make my money that I put back into audio only from audio during college, I would have had 0 gigs.
Yeah,
I would have had 0 gigs.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
so
like
I did a bunch of free work and worked at Coke to make money to invest into my audio equipment.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a matter of budgeting and like knowing what you can or can't spend money on. It's kind of like, the way I almost look at it is like, I gained money this week by not buying this thing or by like eating this cheap meal. It saved me this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know, it's like subtractive EQ. I don't know. It's like subtracting is actually gaining too, is like actually giving to the better
giving
picture.
In another area.
Yeah. So it's kind of, that's the way.
That was hella deep.
Yeah. Sorry.
That was cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of like, just budget and think about everything. It's like, do I really need that new pair of shoes? Do I really need to go on vacation? Do I really need, the seafood
and that's where
dinner?
I'm at right now with supplements, because your boy got a little slap happy on that.
He was super allergic on that nutrition.
Boy.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, I eat.
Strong body. This is good.
Yeah. I eat eggs every morning.
Dude,
like that's what I'm saying.
Eggs,
#
baby.
eggs.
Yeah.
But, I eat eggs every morning. I eat like a sandwich.
A Sammy?
For like every lunch. And my snacks in between are veggie chips or veggie straws, which I have in the car, or pretzels and hummus. And then the only other thing I do is I buy chicken breasts and broccoli, and I'll buy packs of ramen. And I'll put the broccoli in there with a hard-boiled egg, and I like do like half the sodium or something. So like everything that I try to eat is like good for you, but it's also insanely cheap.
Yep.
Like my ramen and broccoli and egg, you can get a dozen eggs for $1.
You
broccoli is like $2 for like 10 meals worth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
that's true though. That's super, and people don't think about it like that.
So that's what I'm saying, and
they just don't.
Yeah, like I'll still go out with my girlfriend. We'll go out to eat every once in a while, but like I will much more cook both of us dinner and like rent a Redbox than we will go out to a dinner and then like do a movie. But that's not to say that I like cheap out. Like every her birthday, Valentine's Day, we're going somewhere big. We're having a good time. And I still like take her out, but like it's just it's controlled spending basically, because I want to spend all my fucking money on video shit so I can chase my passion of being like all the people that I aspire to be. Like, I want to do what Ben Sherrill does, where he's flying in a helicopter out to all these different countries and like flying in an airplane, but flying in a helicopter around Nashville and doing all these like big shoots for people because he's at that level. Like I want to be at that level.
Right.
So,
but and you have to it comes down to making sacrifices to do so.
Yeah. It's time and money.
Yep.
That's it.
It's the only two things that anybody has that anybody cares about. So nobody cares about anything else but how much time you got for me and how much money you got for me.
And the good thing about most of these things are, at least what I learned is, I came into this, and this I don't know, for anyone that knows me,
we didn't even really talk. We usually do when people come here for the first time. We usually do like, what's your story?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
like, how'd you get here? Which we can go into.
For anyone that knows me currently, here in my Tennessee life, like people, I guess, would say like I don't know, like Garrett's coming out of the MTSU music program, like pretty high up there. Like he's done well. I don't know.
Listen to this guy.
I know, right?
Sprucing himself up.
I know.
He?
I don't know how to.
What?
meaning, like I've tried to be a part of like. I've tried to.
No, you've done a lot of shit.
Yeah, I've tried to make waves.
Have.
Yeah, I've tried to. Yeah. I've ran some executive positions at like MTSU. I've been a part of like all the student programs, like AMP and everything. We've done bigger paid projects, and I've worked with some like actual big names on a couple of my independent projects now. And not a lot of people can come out of MTSU saying they have a record at 500,000, streams, or, it's that's what I'm saying. It's like, and the graphic design department, like not a lot of people are known coming out of MTSU for the graphic design.
It's a very blank.
Then
I would say
even come out of the graphic design department, which is lit.
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying like there aren't a lot of people that are coming out to where, like I would say like, yeah, Dusty's going to have a job when he graduates, or like Moose is going to be successful in his mixing or something. Like I feel like people that know me now with my work ethic now are like, when Garret graduates, he'll probably be okay. Like he'll probably find that's all I'm trying to say, and I'm not trying to say I'm great.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, no, I've been saying I'm amateur this whole time, and I'm just trying to get better. But like,
it was my shot.
Yeah. But for the people that know me here, they're like, wow, like Garret is good, like in the graduating class. He's like one of.
Yeah, you definitely put yourself out there, and you
definitely.
I would definitely say that you. Like people know who you are at MTSU. That's kind of the know who you are for your work.
Out of the booking audio video department, like of people who are great in the past 4 years, I think my name hopefully is going to be up there in some people's minds. If not, that's fine, whatever. But I'm just very proud of myself.
Knocked your confidence.
Yeah,
down,
no, you're good.
Sorry,
you're good. No, but I'm just proud of what I've achieved because
you should be.
And that's the way.
Before I moved here,
if you're not proud of what you achieved while you're there, then you're the one who's like.
Well, that's the reason That's what I was saying. Like the reason I'm proud of myself for this is because before I moved here, when I was in high school, I was in the bottom 10% of my entire grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was probably.
Yeah.
Like
so
that.
Like
I wouldn't say 10%.
I struggled with everything. I was not very talented at anything, and I just kind of like played games and like chilled and really didn't do anything, didn't make any moves, didn't talk to anyone. But I was like, I guess I had an innate ability to like be pretty good at playing games. So I like knew I was good at like doing something at least, but it wasn't anything that could ever earn me anything.
Right.
Well, so now that's
right. Now it's a different story.
Now it's completely different. That's what I'm saying. So the point I was trying to make is that talent is something that can be learned.
Yes.
And if I'm able to go from the bottom 10% of my class to being known as somebody who's like actually doing things that are like changing the place that we're in, like, oh, that was like,
especially with Kirkwood, you didn't even mention that.
Right.
Like, that makes huge waves at MTSU.
Yeah. So the things, if I can go from literally being nothing to being like someone in a matter of 2 years, I mean, then anyone at any point can make that leap and do it. All it is a matter of time and money. I invested my time to learn how to book and do audio and all the other things that it took to make Kirkwood happen. And literally, that's what I was saying. Like, I have people messaging me saying, hey, man, how'd you do this? And the only thing I can tell them is, well, I went and failed a bunch at it, and then it's experience.
And you still,
I did everything for free or lost money.
I think that's the
and
main
I got better,
part.
and I stopped losing money.
There's two main components to that, and you guys correct me if you have any different thoughts on this, but I think there's two things that come with that. It's humility and spend the time.
Yeah.
There's like people just don't want to put in that time and effort, and then also people are like, oh shit, like I'm not going to I'm not going to get paid, and I have to tell people I didn't get paid for this, or I swear it's huge, and also not getting paid, but like, you know, willing to do stuff for free, or willing to like make something and it not be good.
Well, it's
like,
it's
dude,
willing
I'll
to
never
accept
forget
failure.
that. Like, this is one of my worst failure horror stories. I think just for me, it was me, Dusty, and Jake Lane. We were at the old place.
This
and
is
we were
one
making
of
graphics.
This is like I'll give this a little pre. This is like one of when I go back and think of college. Not like that it's been like forever ago or anything, but
it feels like it.
It does feel like it. And I've only been out. This is my 3rd month.
Oh shit! I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. So in 3 months,
forever.
Hello, loans.
Yeah, true.
I'm just kidding. Not really, but that's one of the nights that I think of is me, Moose, and Jake Lane. We were literally none of us slept. I don't think we slept. I don't think any of us slept. We were up all night. We had a show. You go into it. I was just giving a pre.
You do think about this though when you think about college?
This is one of the biggest memories.
So we were doing the CMA building. We were doing the show at the CMA building with AMP, and it was like that was one of the like, especially at the time, one of the like peak moments for AMP because we were doing real well. No, it was a CMA show because we were making those motion graphics, and I designed them at first. Remember? Isn't that what we were making? And we were making the cuts of the videos that they had filmed. What do you think it was?
Night. I thought you were talking about the night that we had that show where I was making like it was Y2K.
I remember this.
It was Y2K.
I remember Y2K, but what did I do for Y2K? I don't think that
you were doing something. You didn't. What did you do? I made
did
the
graphics.
I did the LED wall.
You did the
that was the first time. That was the first time I ever did.
I don't
the
think
LED
I
wall.
had a lot to do with that night. I think that was you and Jake. The
You were
night that this happened that I'm talking about was the CMA building because we were making those orange graphics, and then we had these videos that we were going to roll in between the people playing. So the person that's coming on, they had already pre-recorded a video answering some questions, and we just edited the video without the questions being asked, so it was just like them talking about something, and then put this little motion graphic at the end that said their name and something else, and that wasn't I worked on it forever, and Jake was right there, and he was watching me work on it.
But the overarching idea of that story is you probably learned a shit ton.
No, it's not
It's not over. Wait a minute.
So I worked on it forever. Okay.
All night.
He's sitting there while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, this ain't gonna cut it. And I was like, and if you've ever worked personally with Jake Lane, he's great, dude. He's good. And that was the only time it really happened to me.
But you better be good too.
You better be good. Like he don't fuck around. Like he gets shit done. And I was like, I didn't get it at the time. Like I was like, it looked good to me. I thought it was great. I thought we were going the right direction. It was just the style of the graphic and the way that it entered the frame. It wasn't what he must have found something different or whatever, but he ended up making them. And I was so fucking mad, dude. I'd never been mad at Jake Lane before. Never, to this day, I've never been mad at him since. And I was fuming. I was so hot.
Were they better?
They were better, but I still didn't think that they were that much better, but they were better. They were better. I saw what he was talking about, and it was ultimately it was his choice. So I had to respect that.
So
and
that's what I saw when I played the Y2K show.
No, when you played
when you saw the Y2K show, that was my first LED wall graphic with the iPod and the crazy stuff going on.
That was I remember that was a grueling task for you.
Oh, that's why it was one of like the highlights of the like one of my college, because that was like I
remember that because I was fine. I remember that I had sleep. Y'all didn't.
No, not only was you did,
because the next day I was like, yo, like, dude, like, are you good? And you're like, yeah, but I'm dead.
Were you there with us till like 2 a.m. in the studio rehearsing? Were you there for that?
You were at the house making graphics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You were for sure at the house making graphics.
Yeah. So like that was the first LED wall graphic I ever made, first motion graphic I ever made.
Explain what the graphic was.
So it was so there were like 10 artists in the set. So I took this iPod and made it change colors. And then like in the iPod, it would show like the song they were playing.
And it like scrolled.
And,
right?
the time, like I took the links of the songs and, added it was pretty much, it wasn't really that accurate because when you're in a live setting, it's going to differ a little bit. But like the visual representation, you could just see how much of the song was playing by looking at the iPod and
you
on the big LED wall screen.
With the songs.
Yeah, with the length of the songs. So, and then
they were all different.
Right.
Yeah. There was a lot of work.
Didn't you do that? That was like the first time you'd ever done graphics, I think. Like,
for AMP.
For like you
to
only
go into
did like
a show.
Small stuff, and then you did that with like Photoshop or something, didn't you?
Yeah, I made that in Photoshop. I do all my video, like I don't do a bunch of video work, but when I do, I actually do it in Photoshop.
There's like a video engine in there.
If you double click,
it hurt my brain to look at. Dude, it was so different than like normal.
If you double click like the bottom bar in Photoshop, it'll pop up a timeline, and like you can go into video mode, and you can actually do that's where I've made every motion graphic I've ever made.
It's just
it's very
not like
simplified.
I don't think it's a video editor, more or less a color or like a graphics editor type thing. Like you can manipulate the picture in Photoshop rather than like
that's
being
what
a video.
I mean, you can drag video in there, and I have done that. But
really,
yeah. But like primarily, that's its use because it's very simplified form.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool. Like for the extent of video that I do, that's that's supplemental. So I don't think that's the right word, but we'll stick it.
Was there more to your Jake Lane story? Okay. So did you like learn a lot?
Yeah. Well, the main thing that I learned from that whole situation was
that you don't like motion graphics.
No, I like them. Oh, okay. I do like motion graphics. They're hard. I learned that. Yeah. But it knocks you down a peg in a good way. Yeah. Because you just, especially with what we were doing at the time, we were killing it. We were fucking killing it. And like everything that we were making was good.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like
it was good.
When people talk about us now, like they'd be like, they killed it when they were here.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But the reason we were killing it is because we had so many of those failures, you know?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what and it also gives you a little bit of like, that wasn't just me that knew about those graphics. Everybody in AMP knew about those graphics because everybody in AMP knew that, and we're all friends, like close friends and shit. So it's not like it's going to be something I'm going to try to hide, but like that, like, is kind of like shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you're doing everything good and great and grand, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, hold on a second, like let me do this a little bit better. Yeah. And then you're like, oh shit, like I don't always got it. And you have to be able to admit when you don't have it. But you also have to be able to be willing to still give your input and stuff. That's why that environment was perfect for me. Yeah. And I think perfect for a lot of people because it's forgiving. But it's also like we're not going to let you just look like an idiot or let the rest of us look like idiots. No. So you're gonna fix what you need to fix, or
someone else is going to fix it.
Someone else will fix it because there's enough people around.
Oh yeah, I've had that. I mean, the second time I tried to make videos at a Kirkwood show, like when I actually had multicam, we had Okie Dokie playing, and Okie Dokie is like a very well like a couple million streams on their stuff on Spotify and like tours the US and everything. Really high quality music videos. And I sent it to them, and I mean, they sent it back to me with a link to Audio Tree and said, it doesn't look like this. It's not good enough. And they said, let's see. They said,
that's the
only thing they said was, you should check this out. And they said, we can't release this. And it was just a link to Audio Tree.
Yeah.
And I was just like, mad, but I knew that I just wasn't good enough. And that's fine, you know? But I think the problem with a lot of people is they're not willing to be told that they suck, and they just can't handle
everybody's
it.
Gonna suck. Everybody's gonna. This is the thing. You want to do anything creative, especially if you want to just do like commercial. You're like, I just want to shoot commercials.
Yeah.
There's a very easy, basic way to go about that. You know what I mean? But if you're open to trying out new stuff and like being creative and stuff, and you want to be the guy or the gal that's like, they like edit my videos. If you want to be that person, then you have to be willing to try something different. And if you can't be willing to try something different, it is most likely because you don't want to fail in front of people. Like, you don't want people to see that. You don't want people to be like, they made my music video and it was garbage. Yeah. Like, you're going to make stuff that's garbage.
Yeah.
Like, most of the beats I've ever made are garbage.
And if you take that, it's a little bit of phlegm.
That's cute.
All right.
If you take that into like a songwriting perspective, like, if you're scared of failure, then you're obviously in anything you're not going to improve, but especially in songwriting, because the thing that takes your songwriting to a next level is co-writing. And if you can't risk throwing out like a bad lyric or a bad idea, then you're only going to be stuck in your head, and you're not going to have any more creativity input from other co-writers that helps you get better. And you know,
it really does. That's all it does, is help you get better.
Yeah.
I mean, any of that stuff, anybody just even critiquing your own work, like, you have to be able to take that and then get better.
Yeah. And the more bullshit that you get out,
the
less you're going to have left in you.
I heard that concept the other day. Like, I just keep pumping out ideas. Like, somebody, I forget who it was, said something about, like, write 3 ideas a day or 3 sentences a day or whatever. Just write every day. It was for someone that wanted to write. And they were like, just write like a page a day or something like that, no matter what it is. Yeah. It might be shit. All of it might suck.
I mean, you have to do that in songwriting classes.
Just do it. And then eventually a good idea will pop out. Yeah. And that's what I was talking about with audio earlier. Like, and I know that's with a lot of the stuff, but anything creative, anything that you don't want to just be a cookie cutter job, like,
experiment, fail.
You have to be willing to fail. And then also you have to have those moments like with Jake, like, that to knock you back a little bit and say, hey, you don't really know everything, so chill. You know, like, you might have a big nice computer and some software, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get the job done that needs to be done.
It really doesn't. Yeah. I mean, that's and I guess that's kind of how like Kirkwood came about. It was just like I said, it started off with me just putting artists somewhere to play music, and then it was, I can put artists somewhere to play music and actually make them sound good, because nowhere sounded good. And then it was like, I can record these artists too. And I was like, this will make me mix a little bit. And then it was like, I can add video to it, you know? And then it's like, I need lighting. So that was the natural progression for me. It's just because I exclusively did live events. Right. So that's why I had to, like, I guess, learn a little bit about everything. But yeah, people don't really see the first time we tried to record, I remember going up, and it was in January, and it was right before Arlie went on. Slider was going on, and I just remember we had this analog console, and something was fucked up. Colin McKay was running sound. Console. Yeah, Colin McKay was running sound, and it was our first attempt at trying to record. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't anyone's fault. It was just nothing we'd done before. And I remember physically ripping out all the patches into the console and just being like, from the interface, and just plugging them directly into the console and being like, just plug all this shit in and get the band on stage. And, you know, we completely failed that show. And then the next show was the one with Okie Dokie, and we managed to record it, but the recording sucked. And it was because we shot with 3 different style cameras. One was like pro grade, one was like GoPro and one was like mid-tier, the T5. And so it just looked like so fucking like not even
patchy.
Yeah. It just was like good quality, like terrible quality. Quilt. Yeah.
It's like my beard right now.
Yeah. So many. It's like so not well groomed.
Good quality, mid-tier GoPro.
But the idea is that like just take any opportunity that you can to do those things, and just don't be afraid to fail, because you'll get better at it, and then eventually you'll be like, people will be like, oh, that guy's really good at that, not because he has good things, but because he failed a lot, or that girl's really good at that because she, failed a lot and learned how to do that.
Yeah, but see, people don't think about that,
yeah,
Garrett.
See, let's get really cliche.
Be real.
Let's get
be
cliche.
real.
Michael Jordan did not make the basketball team.
I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah,
it's a good point. But
Albert Einstein could not tie his shoes.
Really?
A lot of it is about opportunity. And
is it true?
Probably not, but I've heard that.
I was like, well, wait a minute, is that true? But a lot of it is about like opportunity and accepting things that you might be bad at, but you're willing to learn. Like, when
a lot of it is about opportunity.
Yeah,
but you can. I would argue you can create that for yourself.
Yeah, but
around an environment like at school,
you do create it for yourself.
And I know that a lot of people, a lot of people don't get. Maybe a lot of people aren't at MTSU that are listening to this, but still, like, you can figure it out. Like, we have internet, like SoundCloud, like
it's all networking.
All them damn
100%.
Half the people on SoundCloud are a bunch of damn nerds.
Yeah,
and they're good at making music, and they like to have online friends. And that shit used to be lame, and now that shit's popping.
Yeah, well,
that shit's popping.
What I was gonna say is, like, to say I am quite amateur and mid-level. I'm like very mid-level at everything I do, but I get way more jobs than people who might be a little bit better than me because I'm willing to put myself out there, and that gives me the opportunity.
All about that. And older people who are seasoned and have experience love it when they see young people out there that put themselves out there.
Yeah,
they will jump all over it.
Yeah,
and I've seen it.
And that's like the secret is just putting yourself out there. And like, I got a call and I had never done lighting before. And I got a call from this guy, this promoter at Mercy Lounge, and he was like, "You trying to come run lights in Nashville this weekend?" And I was like, "Okay." And it was for like 300 people. It was like, ironically, it was for the U.S. Air Guitar Championship. Hilarious, amazing, amazing.
Oh my god!
It's a whole podcast by itself. Yeah, but. To sum it up, the ending was...
Can I get my tickets
right?
for the next one?
To sum it up, the ending of the Air Guitar Championship was 45 people on stage doing Back in Black. And it's like 45 middle-aged people within smoked-out room, just all air guitaring Back in Black at once. And it was like this big ending, and it was like, thank you for coming out. And I was like, oh my God. But like,
that's intense.
I literally had no idea what I was doing, but it was just because I was willing to do things. People knew that they were like, oh, he might know this. Therefore, we're going to give him a chance.
So how'd the gig go? Good? Is it easy?
Oh God, no. It was not great, and I think they couldn't see at some parts, and fucking the room was so smoked out that the front of house engineer or the stage manager just went over and turned the fog machine off.
Did he really?
Yeah, because he couldn't trust me with it, and it was terrible, and it was like, I'm probably never gonna get another gig doing that there again. But I didn't care.
But you're being willing to fail.
Yeah,
man.
I am so okay with watching something like be a complete failure now. That's why I do so many things for free, because I'm just so willing to be like, hey Drake, I am just gonna do this for you tonight, and it's probably gonna fuck up, but like, I'm just gonna fail.
Let's try it out. Yeah, let's figure it out.
If it doesn't, then you did it. So,
and that's how you learn. Like, really, that's how you just learn a bunch of stuff. Is like, oh, I have this idea. Yeah, let's try it and see where I screw it up.
Yeah, I mean everything. All of Kirkwood. The way Kirkwood started was I was sitting in the quad with Mike Chapman, Matt Johnston, and maybe Maccabee, and I had a little planner in my hand, and I said, I want to host a house show. And I said, we were like, what's it going to be called? And I was like, I don't know. How about the Good Vibes Show? And it was fucking whack. And then that literally developed into me going out and getting Dusty and to draw this other whack idea that I had. I was like, put these fucking people on my roof and let's make this Photoshop collage that's just like crazy. And,
and we did it.
And we fucking did
and
it.
It was cool.
And like 100-something people came, So
that was the
first show.
Yeah, it was like 140 or 150 people came.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was able to pay everyone, and I walked home with a nice chunk of change too. That was great.
Nice.
Yeah. And so like, but yeah, it just all goes back to that. Just go out there and fail a shit ton and invest in the things that you love, and then just keep taking every opportunity you can to go network and meet people and do other things, because 90% of all the freelance gigs I get is because someone knows a person who knows a person who knows me.
Yep.
Like
that's how I've gotten most of my gigs.
Yeah. And then anything else, I'm just like, Dusty, I'll come shoot anything you want at the tracking, or not tracking room, at the ruckus room. Yeah. And or like what I said to the guy at the tracking room, I was like, if you ever need video, just let me know, because like I'm always willing to like put myself out. So that's what, like, everyone has time. Everyone has the money to do it, and if you don't have time, or if you don't have the money to do it, you need to really be self-evaluating and be like, how can I get that? Because if you're working at McDonald's and they're working you to death and they're paying you minimum wage, you can fix that by quitting and getting a new job.
Yeah.
It's just gonna take you some time.
Yeah, and if you're gonna work hard at McDonald's, if you were at McDonald's and you were working hard, like you're doing your shit,
go work hard somewhere else.
Yeah. You
that's a good point.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. If you found like where's the place you're working at now?
Ajax
pay you well?
Yeah.
Cool. Great, right? And you're happy with that, and you can still do the things you want to do. Yep. So it's like it really is. People feel stuck in their relationships, in their job, in their careers, because they're not innovating. And that's and it's you. God will let you wake up every day and go to sleep every day.
That's something that I like to think about every once in a while. I think about that shit. Like,
only you can make yourself do other things.
If I don't feel like doing something sometimes, and this is only sometimes, because there's a lot of times that this doesn't cross my mind and I don't do something. But I think about, like, if I sit and watch this movie, right? If I go to this, a lot of times it's to this show, because I don't go to a lot of shows. I go to some. Every once in a while, but I should go to more, but I still don't.
You don't have to say that for me.
I'll be like, no, I'm saying that in general. I am saying that for you.
Come on, man, I'll go to your Kirkwood shows.
I come to some.
Yeah, sometimes.
But no, like, it's just, I think about, like, if I'm doing this, if I'm gonna do this one thing, or like if I'm gonna work on this project, or I'm gonna watch this movie.
Yeah.
The time's gonna pass either way. That time's gonna pass.
Yep.
And you're going to wake up the next day and you're going to say, oh, well, I didn't do that mix because I watched that movie last night. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. If you do that all week, then the next week you're still going to have made zero progress.
Subtractive
and spent
EQ.
The same amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but you're really not adding to, a lot of times it's with like shit that's pointless. I mean, it's kind of like the money thing. Like,
yeah, you subtract from that to give more to that.
Yeah, and it's not like people don't use it to be productive though. Like, it's not like they're being productive in another area, so they're not working on something. Like, it's a lot of time like playing games or watching. And I'm not hating on you. Everybody's got to have a release.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But that's the in a zone, dude.
Dude, I zoned out on I was watching the waves, dude.
Watching the waves, dude.
Yeah.
Eventually, we are going to get back to the thing we started 49 minutes ago, which is about plugins. But
oh shit.
Yeah, I guess we can kind of go back there after we finish up this tangent on success and failure and free work.
Oh, and just to add to this whole thing, like I would like to say, like, we ain't shit. And I'm not just going to speak for myself. I'm not just going to speak for myself. I'm going to speak for all of us.
We are the piece of chewing gum that you stepped in and are now pissed because of
People hate me legit, people do not like me because I'm so critical of them because they're not really willing to accept it. But the thing that they don't understand is that I look at my work and go, man, this is so shitty. But they'll get mad at me because they'll be like, oh man, like Garrett thinks my music sucks. I won't tell them their music sucks. I'll be like, it's all right. It's not good enough yet. These are what you need to improve on. Like Delaney's like my best friend, but like every time I'm like, you're off time and your vocals aren't there yet. I can hear your vocal like cracking and you're not like, and your rhythm guitar isn't quite like, what's the word?
Timely.
Keeping my entertainment. It's not like
it's not dynamic.
Yeah, it's not dynamic enough. It's just too so like, and she'll like get upset about that, but it's not, I'm not trying to say that to make you feel bad. I'm trying to say that
you have to hear that.
You need to be told that you suck. So
you have to hear that. But
so you get better.
And not to say, not saying that Delaney sucks at all. No.
I'm not saying she's great. She's better than most, like in my town of Louisville, she's probably one of the best people like there.
But if nobody ever told her gave her any feedback, she would suck.
But we live in Nashville. Yeah. We live in we live in the superstars.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to be comparing yourself to. Like people will tell me I'm great, and then I'll look at Ben Sherrill's videos or I'll look at Audio Tree's videos, and I will literally tell you I am fucking terrible. And that's just my terminology that I use. But what I'm really trying to say is like, I'm not quite good enough.
With that, though, you have to be, I would argue, like it's our job as, you produce these videos for these people, right? I produce music for people. It's our job, and it's something that I understood early, the way that you communicate to people. That's why when you came over here, we made sure that you pretty much got whatever you need. I am big on that shit.
Yeah.
Dusty's just a good old boy, so he's naturally like that. But you have to make sure whoever's at your place is comfortable. Yeah. Like, it's huge. Like, at my studio back in Indiana, I had lights that would change colors with a remote for anything, 4 separate, like, spotlights, so you could, like, get in your zone, and, like, a curtain, and you'd get in, like, this. I had a booth, and it was dope.
Crazy booth. I had a diamond mirror.
Diamond window. Diamond shaped window.
Apologies.
But they both had curtains over them, so you could just, like, people would close them both and just get in there and, like, just turn on whatever color they liked, and they were just, like, in there. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, I just made sure a lot of stuff that I've always done has been making sure that they're comfortable. So, like, also the way that you talk to them and the way that you you can make or break a session by how you say something to someone.
Very true. Very true. And
it's touchy.
It's very touchy, but I guess
with artists, at least.
In my realm, it's a little bit different because
I would argue it's way easier for you.
Well, it's way different because I am in the world of like curating live events and bringing like a quality to someone. So I physically like, I don't ever tell people that they're not good enough. I just usually don't book them or something.
Right.
You know?
Naturally.
So, right.
It's the real world.
So like, but that's the thing you have to think about is like, if you want...
It's not as personal.
Right. It's not as personal. And that's why you have to worry about that because it's like a client that's paying you or something.
Yeah.
For me, it's a client that I'm giving something to. You know, and it's a mutually beneficial thing for me.
Yeah.
And for you, it's like you're good, and it'd be good for them to do it with you. So you want to make sure that it's very different, but it's
also like what's mainly different about it is it's in a different setting.
Right. But I mean, even if it's a video or something, if I don't like the video that I'm going to shoot for an artist or the idea or something, you know, I try to make it, you know, cool or I don't know. I've never not liked any video I've ever done. I don't know. I feel like
it's more down to I'm talking more about like when someone is off time or someone is out off key. Like you have to be able to say something while they're in the session to make sure that they're going to take it in a good way and it's not going to throw the vibe of the session off. Because I've before said or done the wrong thing during a session that someone didn't like, and you could hear it in their voice.
Yeah.
That the session wasn't going well.
I feel like my statement may have been a little confusing. I'm not really talking about like the way I talk to people. I'm more talking about realizing your failures and yourself and being real with yourself and the people around you. Like, I'm not saying anything that has to do with like my clients or like when we're working in a work situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more just talking about like, if you want to get better and learn from those failures, you need to be able to be real with yourself and look at somebody who actually is good and compare yourself to that, and like compare yourself on a bunch of different levels.
You're talking about more in a situation of like, yo, Garrett, I just made this song, or I just mixed this, tell me what you think, rather than we're in the middle of a project and you're saying, gotcha.
Like,
okay.
if you bring a song to me, I will tell you exactly what I think. I will tell you, like, this is pretty good, or this is amazing. Like, when you did Daniel's song, I was like, this is amazing. And that's pretty much all you're going to get from me. It's great. But, you know, if you have, like, if you gave me a song that I didn't think was good, I would tell you, hey, I didn't like
specific things about why.
One of my friends did a video.
A lot of people can't take that shit.
Right. One of my friends did a video recently, and I didn't really like it, but I like everything else he's done. And so when I talked to him about it, I was just like, what did you do here? And I was like, I didn't really think this came out very well. And, you know, I just didn't really like it. And I thought you could do a lot better. And he said, bro, I did so bad on that. And I was like, okay, so you knew, like, it, you know, and I was like, I was worried about asking you, but like, you know, those things are important. You don't want the number one thing that I hate, or not that I hate is a strong word. The number one thing that really bothers me is kind of like that mother syndrome, where like my mom, every time I go home, will tell me that everything I'm doing is gold.
It's awesome.
And I'm like, it's not. My mom's like, you are one of the best musicians I've ever seen. And here, all the people that know me in Nashville.
Mom, have you been to Nashville?
That's what I'm saying.
Dude,
it's
even
everything is like relativity into where you are.
Yeah.
That's why I have to be real with people in Nashville, because we are in a place of the greats. So if you're saying that you're the shit,
be like that anyway.
The largest artists in the world, the largest musical artists in the world, get nervous every time they have a stop in Nashville, because they are playing in front of the greatest vocalists in the world, the greatest musicians in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the greatest.
You never know who's going to be watching you, and if you could have like helped your friend out and to not look stupid by like, you know,
I feel like you're doing them a disservice by not.
Exactly. Like, I'm not even saying that they're going to look stupid, but like in any situation, like if you're not going to help them out when you know you could, it's kind of messed up.
The overall theme is to find the learn out of the failure. Like when I got sent that Audio Tree video, you know, my first thought process wasn't, I hate this band, you know, I'm never going to work with them again.
Suck.
I'm mad. The first thing I did was corrective research. I went and emailed the video producer for Audio Tree and said, how do you do this? And he literally emailed me, this is the camera we shoot on. These are the shoulder rigs we use. Here's the camera lens that we use. And this is how we color correct it. And I said, and I mean, it wasn't literally he gave me that. Like I asked and prodded and picked for it. Right. And so like the idea is just when someone is critical to you, don't be like, wow, that person's mean.
Sometimes people are right.
And they might be on like that next level of, meaning they've worked with people who are better than you or something, and they don't have to tell you that you're good anymore.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter when it costs a lot of money. You know, you need to be, if you came up to me and said, I have a $10,000 production for you, here's my thought process on it, and it was terrible, I would tell you this is not good. And vice versa, if you came up to me and you actually had it thought out, I would tell you this is great, we'll do it. And see, that's what I'm saying. You need to be able to. So you tend to
find a lot of backlash from people when you give them critical advice, or no?
No, more just I know that I can be critical of people, and I don't want them to think that I mean anything negative about them as humans about it.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to say anything to your face.
People take it personally, is what I'm trying to say. So if someone is critical to you, just don't try to take it personally, because chances are they probably could have said it a better way, but it doesn't matter how they said it. What matters is why they said it. No one is going... You could be the biggest asshole in the world, and if someone gives you something good, you're probably not going to say it's bad. You know? Like, if you can be like, you know, you can be, just think of some extremely negative person.
Simon Cowell.
Yeah. And if Simon Cowell, if you put the best singer in the world in front of Simon Cowell, he's usually going to say, oh my God, that was amazing. You know?
Yeah.
because he knows what amazing actually is, because he's seen it. So he's not going to lie to your face, because that doesn't do anything for you. It's just like your mother telling you that you deserve a trophy for coming in last. You don't. You probably sucked. You know? So you have to accept that and learn from it and embrace the fact that you suck. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like anything you start on, you're going to suck. Embrace it. Tell people you suck.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah, embrace the suck and just get better at it.
I saw one of my buddies posted that a couple times this week. Hashtag embrace the suck.
Yeah. And if you're going to be recording anything, you're going to use plugins.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, plugins. My God. Okay.
Or mixing, rather.
Because I do have... So I got this gig, which is really cool. I guess I can say this now. I haven't really been telling people about it. But I started as a tour editor at TKO Artist Management. And I'm doing tour edits for
tour edits.
Tour edits. Yeah, it's
what is that?
It's a country.
It sounds familiar. Yeah.
So
what's a tour edit?
So 3 artists are on tour right now, and they have a tour videographer, photographer, and they send me the clips and the photos, and I edit them into videos and pictures, and I send it back to them for their Instagram and for Facebook and stuff. So the 3 artists I'm doing right now are Colt Ford, Toby Keith, and Sean McAnally.
Shane McAnally.
Shane McAnally.
He's a songwriter.
Yeah. And so
I've heard
are the
those
3.
names.
Yeah.
Colt Ford actually did some stuff at Ruckus Room.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. They're like not decent. They're pretty well established.
Oh, Shane McAnally is massive. He's one of the...
He's the smallest one. Toby Keith's the biggest one, I think. He has like 500,000 Instagram followers or something.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Shane McAnally, as far as being established and like... Shane McAnally is very underground because he's not an artist. He's just a songwriter. He's written some of the biggest songs you've probably heard on country radio.
Yeah. But
regardless,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and that goes back to the whole like I'm not the best, but I just managed to put myself in a position to where a friend of a friend of a friend recommended me to this guy at TKO, and now I get to say that I work for Toby Keith. You know, like
that's awesome. Yeah,
and people will be like, and there's plenty. Most people in the photography and video department are probably better than me. You know, but like. They're just not putting out as much work and making as many connections.
Yeah.
So
that's what it's
all
about.
And you constantly have something to represent what you're doing too. That's a big deal.
Yeah. So if you're not putting out quality content consistently, then you don't exist in Nashville. Mm-hmm. That's the sad truth.
I need to bump up my content game.
Yeah. Anyways, plugins.
Yeah. Really.
I'm glad that it's gonna boil down to this because you're gonna be very underwhelmed with my answers.
It's good.
Can we still hear it?
It timed out. Yeah, it's good.
I'm still gonna turn the screen on.
Okay. And then we'll go into the plugin world.
Yeah. Go ahead and let's get it started.
You've been mixing on some Slate plugins over there. Do you have a lot of different plugins from different companies? Because the question that I want to ask you is, can you compare and contrast quality of plugins, hopefully against Waves from Slate? Like, do you have enough Slate to say, this is what Slate does compared to this is what Waves does? Because Waves is the prosumer choice. It is cheap, but professional, right. And Slate is a little bit more expensive and professional. And
I
then
would argue
most
it's cheaper if you just subscribe. Super cheap. It's
true.
Mad cheap.
You're right. It is cheap, and
it's
you
like
get
$150 for the year.
A year. Yeah.
It's my 3rd year.
Yeah. So you're at like $450. So the only thing I have to say against that is that you can only use those Slate plugins, or you have to use those Slate plugins. Like if you go to another studio and they don't have the Slate plugins, like, you know, or if you ever want to stop paying that subscription fee, all your old mixes that you use those plugins on, you can't open that anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing that makes me nervous about it.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. So once you start, you have to keep doing it if you want to keep those old mix files.
But I can't tell you why I would open up any of my old mix files.
You're right. I've never opened up an old mix, but I'm just saying that is something to think about.
No, well,
true.
It happens.
That's a good point.
It happens more than like when you're. I mean,
At my level, it don't happen.
At
a professional level, it will.
But at a professional level, it will, and that's something you should, think about now because things change, Because
it's my bread and butter, to be honest with you. Slate is my bread and butter.
Let's talk about quality of plugins from different plugin companies. I don't want to know if you use one plugin from SoundToys or SoundLab. I don't care. Okay. But if you use like a bundle of plugins from different places, can you compare and contrast? Or even if you've used all the UAD plugins before or something like that.
Okay, so I have, like I said, my answer is probably going to be kind of underwhelming. So I use Slate for Waves for more specific stuff. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, stereo panning. I use the S1 a lot. The S1's gold. But I
just
don't
to get your mix
use
wide.
A lot. Yeah, like I'll use it on like my electric guitar bus or something. Mm. Like I already have like 5 or 6 electric guitars going on, like channels. Some are like ones for the solo, so it's like different. We mixed it a little bit different, but I'll have a stereo field of electric guitars.
Have you ever used Vitamin Enhancer?
Yeah, I don't get it. I haven't spent enough time with it to get what I want out of it. I've used it messing around.
Have you tried the mastering presets on it?
I've scrolled through them probably, but nothing that ever stuck with like for a master.
No, it's just on your mix bus.
Okay, for just on the whole full mix bus, not for
it's
anything specific.
Well, yeah, I use it on the mix bus because it's a multi-band
compressor, right?
Sort of.
And with EQ in it?
Yeah, it's a multi-band EQ, but not really I don't ever use the compression on it. It's just basically you can push up or push down different bands. So it's like a band leveler. So you can solo each band and listen to exactly what the high band sounds like. And then it also has a stereo widener and an RL exciter
I don't know if I've used either one of those on that.
Yeah, so it's just a really good
stereo tool on there.
It like for me, it kind of sounds like what a mastering does. It cleans up the signal. It can spread it out a little bit more. And then you also can mix the frequencies a little bit easier in adjustable bands. Okay. It's cool. I don't know how I got on that subject, but...
A little more... Well, you asked me if I use it. I don't really use it. Like I said, I use it for like messing around. I've used some of the compressors. I use the gate when I need it.
So do you notice a difference in quality from Slate to Waves?
I do because, like, when I use Waves, it's like like I said, it's like for specific stuff. So, like, I'll have, like, a compressor on here. I don't like to compress. I don't like to put a bunch of plugins on all my channels.
Yeah,
if I don't have to. Like, you should be able to use, like, a little bit of compression. But also, like, if you have something, like, small playing... Like, you can also, like, throw that into the bus, and then the bus can kind of serve as what you should put your plugins on, I think.
I usually only put, like, an EQ and maybe, like, 1 or 2 other, like, harmonic thing. Maybe, like, honestly, like, 1 other harmonic thing on a channel. And then I usually throw, like, SSL compressor on my mix bus. And
yeah.
I try to do, like, the only thing I really compress... Typically, like every time I usually try to compress my bass, and I usually try to put like a Puig Child or like LA2A on my vocals, and that's really all I do.
I guess I kind of lied.
1 to 2 dBs compression, like maybe less.
I do compression on. Okay, yeah, I fucking lied. I do compression on everything except for all my drums.
Really?
So this is the thing you got to think about when you're doing a mix.
I do dual drums, so duplicated drums in parallel, slammed with compression.
The New York compression.
Yeah, and then I bring it really down in the mix with just a clean drum with nothing. I mix those
on every mix.
Not every one of them, but most
that's
call for it.
Okay,
because it just makes that snare and the kick just.
Mm-hmm. I haven't done parallel compression in a minute. I haven't used that in a long time.
Tasty.
I use it on stuff that I know is making a big impact. So pretty much like all the guitars, all the vocals, the bass, and any of the big drums. So kick, snare, overheads I don't.
And I duplicate the bus. I don't duplicate all the tracks. So
Right.
Yeah.
and then I'll put compression on all the buses. But the drums that I have not really like overheads, I'm trying to think what else I don't. But I compress anywhere from 2 to 4 dB on some of those channels, like vocals and stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is what you got to think about, and I didn't really realize it until I started doing this a lot, is that your it's like gain staging is huge. So like the reason you're going from 4 vocal channels down to the vocal bus, and then sending the vocal bus to the mix bus, and then the mix bus to the master. There's different stages of leveling in each one of those. Mm-hmm. So when you're sending all the vocals, it's a lot of shit going into one channel. If you add some compression to all that, you're saving yourself some headroom.
Yeah.
So you're making room for the mix bus, and then you compress that, but if you do it too aggressively, you're going to be able to hear it. Yeah. But if you don't do it too aggressively, basically what you're doing with compression is just making some room for yourself for the whole mix, and then it actually sonically gives you more room. So when you pull up that vocal, it's not just like all or nothing, which you'll notice if you don't use a lot of compression. You kind of get to hear a blend of a little, like it's more variable. Yeah. And then you get it to the mix bus, and then you got a little more control over everything, or the vocal bus, and then so on. So that's why I use compression on everything. So I use compression on everything, and I don't use damn near everything, but I don't use any waves. Sometimes I do. I literally at this point with especially with what I'm working on, is mainly because I'm working on Daniel's stuff, and and for those records, I've had so much luck. I call it luck with what I've used so far with Austin, with Chloe, and with Daniel, that I know what to use. If I try something, it's because I got some time, and I'm trying to just be creative.
Right.
If somebody just wants something specific, like usually they do, I'm not messing with a bunch because they got their sound. They're happy with how they had it before. I'm down to innovate. I'm down to try some new stuff. But if I start making those records sound way different than the other ones, I can make the quality better. But if I start like trying stuff that's way different, it's also going to throw that off too.
Yeah.
So I don't try to do too much, but at this point, if I'm reaching for something new from Waves on a single channel, it's for shits and gigs. Like I have compression is through Slate. I use a shit ton of that. Their distressor emulation. That's called FG something or other. They can't use the name, but it's good. I use that a lot.
What is the distressor? It's like an exciter.
It's a compressor, but it's very transparent. You can compress the shit out of some stuff without hearing it. That, and then I'll use like saturation.
I use some tube saturation, but I have to be careful because it adds in that distortion sometimes. I don't like.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Yeah, but anyways, just I do want to get out of the tech talk.
I use
a little bit.
Hold on. I use the Fab Filter EQ.
I do like that. That's the one that has the RTA, right? Or no?
No? I don't know. Okay. Maybe it does. It's not something that I use.
Like it shows the waves in real time?
Yeah. It's RTA.
Real time.
Yeah, real time. Okay, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm trying to think of anything else I use their limiter for some stuff, like especially on rough mixes.
Limiter.
I always do that, dude.
Yeah.
That's something people will be like, hey, can I get my mix? And like I'll just level shit out real quick, make all my buses, and then I throw that sumbitch in that Pro L and crank it up. Like I've cranked some up 10 dB just because if they play it and it's quiet, they're gonna be like, this sounds like shit. You have to crank it up for them, and then they can hear everything, and it's good, for a rough mix.
Yeah,
it's always, and I'll even I stole this technique from Armin van Buren. I think he's an EDM producer.
I know exactly who he is.
He makes music with a limiter on. So he knows what it's going to sound like when it's compressed.
Huh.
Interesting.
It is very interesting. And it's like backwards as shit. But it works. It works. It's worked for me plenty of times. There's been times I was mixing and I was like, shit. I got the limiter on.
Do you put a limiter on at the end of all your mixes?
No, I take it off before I send it to the master. So I make sure that it's not clipping.
Okay.
Before I send it, I keep it on up until the final mix, and then I pull everything down, essentially. Because I will use that limiter, but only as a like a brick wall.
Right.
To make sure it doesn't go over 0.1. That's all I use it for in the final master. Okay. I put it at the very end of the chain, and then it's just no boost or cut or nothing. It just makes sure that it doesn't go over. So then you can crank shit, kind of. That's how I get a loud master without clipping.
Okay. Yeah, I was mainly just asking about because I
quality-wise, man, between Slate and Waves. I know I went on a tangent, but I think Slate's better because in my experience, it's what was that?
A UFO.
Ever since I started using Slate, my mixes sound more professional. And I had it for like 6 months and didn't use it that much, and I was like, "Hey, dumbass!" It was like what we were talking about earlier. Like you better, like if you want to get, like I would have never had better mixes if I wouldn't have actually started spending time with the equipment that I had.
Right.
I wasn't even touching it, and then one of my buddies was like, "You have that? You don't use it?" And I was like, "I don't know. I haven't done any research on it. I just like bought it and like forgot about it."
Me personally, I love the visual.
Yeah, it's visually beautiful. Stunning. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can build those racks inside of it. So have you used it?
No.
Dude. Bring something over sometime or something.
I almost brought my Drake mix that I did.
Freeman.
Yeah. My Drake Freeman mix. Yes. Thank you, Dusty. I should have, and I can another time because I would have liked you to look at it. I was trying to do the stereo panning thing. He does he has a Hammond or something, a Leslie, I don't know what it is.
I can get some.
But he's he's going like, and I wanted it to be like this crazy type thing, and I just couldn't figure it out. And I did so much automation, but did not work, and I tried hard.
Is there a Drake Freeman?
Yeah.
Thank you, boys.
Yeah.
Damn, can I get that Dropbox link?
Yeah. That's right, baby. I love it.
But yeah, dude, I think we should wrap it up there, dude. We have you back again.
Yeah.
We need to talk about how the hell you even got here. Which
actually, before we
people.
end this, this has been at the back of my mind the whole entire time, but I just want this number to be stated. So what is the largest crowd ever
at Kirkwood?
At Kirkwood, at my house.
Yeah. And also not at your house, because I'm curious, because that's two different answers.
That is two very different answers. At my house, 225.
That's
son. Whose show?
Crazy.
Arlie and Slider and Northeaster Freeze.
Okay.
And
I remember that show.
Yeah, I can't remember who else was on that. Augustus Carroll, I think.
I know Augustus Carroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know if Northeaster was on that. Maybe he was. I think you're thinking about the one I did in summer a little bit later that year.
Yeah, I think he is too, because I was there.
Yeah, I think
as
you guys
well.
were
Was
at
that the one with
one.
New Suede? No, that was the first one.
That was the first one. Yeah. But 225.
Great start.
Yeah, 225 at my house. In Nashville, it was like 420 something.
Damn, son. Where at?
Yeah.
Where at?
420 people came to the show.
Where is that? Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Money. We did make good money.
Good.
Yeah, it's $10 tickets. So you do math.
Can't
Yeah,
count, dude.
just did, dude. 4,200 peg ones.
Yeah. And that was at Uko Studios, which is where we just released that Bristol Maroney video from.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why he's like
live venue or what?
Yeah. Outdoor, and that's why he's like, "You guys having a good time tonight?" And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Holy shit!" It's because there's like 400 people yelling.
That was it.
Yeah,
that was the event. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So that would probably be the biggest. And I guess one thing I did want to say before I sign off is, doing house
I'll get
shows.
your pen ready.
Yeah, thanks.
Just kidding.
I was trying to come up with a good one,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
couldn't. I was going to reference AOL.
That's very
Risque.
Oh god. Doing house shows and that type of recording is probably the smallest amount of my overall like career or time that I do things. Most of my time nowadays is spent on like.
Dude, you're gonna be back, dude. Don't trip. You're not going away forever.
Oh no, I was just gonna say most
kidding.
of my time nowadays is spent like doing videos and doing
Playing
like
with your wiener.
yeah, takes up probably 15%. You know.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but yeah, most of my time spent doing videos. Or
It
doing
shows. It shows, dude.
Some other
Dude,
graphic
yeah, it does.
thing.
Your videos are fire, though, for
Thanks,
real.
man.
They're getting
Thanks.
really good.
Yeah.
I told Dusty that it's been, I think it was like 6 months ago, and I was like, yo, did you see Garrett's pictures? I was like, dude, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I did. And then it was like, this was like maybe a month ago, and I was like, dude, have you seen Garrett's videos? Those
appreciate
motherfuckers
that,
are
man.
fire. For
Thanks.
real.
Yeah.
I flipped when I saw the Drum Bird video.
Thanks.
That was,
It was.
is there a full one?
No, it was okay. It was all right.
There's no full one?
No.
What happened? Tell us what happened.
Well, I mean that video is.
You did all the video yourself, didn't
Yeah, I
you?
did everything myself. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really get a full take.
Nah, I mean you can. I did. Thanks, man. I did the last
be a
two
sample.
videos I did for Drake. It's like 11 minutes and it's just one camera, and it's like damn near perfect, dude. I can watch the full 11 minutes and be entertained the whole time, which is cool for single cam. But
Single cam's hard.
yeah, single cam's hard because it's you know, if you fuck it up in one spot, that's the whole video down the drain.
Hey, just a
So,
fun
yeah, if
little
you trip.
tidbit. Just a fun little tidbit. A very, very quick tangent. There's I don't know the name of it. I don't know. I showed this, but it was a single cam shot.
Risque.
In this, it was not. Well, I guess it is risque.
Okay.
Well, no, not really. But it did make money. But anyway, it's like this. I thought you were gonna hit another one. But what I'm saying. No, okay. So it's like this 20-minute long single cam footage, and it's like all this crazy shit going on that you would think is like special effects taking place, but it's like they even change time periods. Like they go back in time, and it's all single cam.
Wow.
And it's insane. I will get back
what
with
are you
you.
talking
I'll get.
about?
It's literally insane.
I'm lost.
It's literally insane. They go back in time to when
Or
they were
is
like
it
kids, like
online?
flashbacks. Huh?
Is it online?
It's on Netflix.
Can you put it in the
Oh.
Dropbox?
Get that. It's on page.
Thank you, boys. I mean, I promise as soon as I get some money, I'm gonna...
The golden
Damn,
teeth.
can I get that Dropbox thing?
There you go.
We got there eventually.
Yeah, we get better every time. Nah.
Oh my god.
Sorry to cut you off though.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I don't even remember what I was really saying.
It's not the end of your time here, dude.
Oh, we were
Yeah.
talking single cam.
Yeah,
That you did that 11 minutes of single cam.
Yeah.
I tell you what. I
something about that. Anyways,
My head's rattling with all these samples.
that's what I'm gonna do when I get
really
home.
didn't know what else.
I gotta edit photos and edit videos from this weekend. I get a new set of videos from tour every Friday. So
Damn,
Sweet.
when you have
Life.
to have them done by.
usually today. So, but I've been on a shoot every day. We didn't even talk about my 15-hour shoot. So well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about it, but it's all right.
It's all right.
You have to
We'll
come
have
back.
to, yeah, we'll just have
Yeah.
to have you come back on.
There will be more shoots. I don't doubt it.
So this
Yeah.
will be out today. It's 10:25, but as soon as we get done wrapping up here, and
Yeah.
then
Sexy.
Sexy can I?
and then next Monday
Mm.
we'll have another one.
So, Mr. Garret Hayes,
Yes,
Oh yeah,
sir.
take us into the
Take
last
us-
song.
yeah,
What
ta-
else did we pick up?
take us into this last song.
Was it the Fulton Lee video?
I think
Yes,
so.
sir. It was
Okay.
definitely Fulton Lee, and
So Fulton Lee is a Nashville indie pop soul R&B artist, and this is a little tune that we did at the Walnut House.
Oh yeah, and thanks for coming by, dude.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank
it.
Hey,
you.
no, thank you guys for having me.
Squad.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo, shout out for the bang too, man. This Rainbow Unicorn.
Yeah, boy.
Man, go, listen to Moose's podcast and Dusty's podcast, and I was gonna say something about the bang. That's why I said Moose.
Strong body.
Yeah. drink bang, because it'll make Moose happy.
Drink bang, eat eggs.
That's right, eat eggs every morning. Peace.
This has been.
I'm sleeping deep in hey. I'm dreaming, but I'm wide awake. The light is bright, but then it fades. I saw you coming, baby, baby. I've been running around and looking in your eyes. I've been reading from the memories in your mind. And you can tie the eyes. Ooh, baby, you're waiting to drink your water. Take a minute or all my time. I could run to see it, girl. I'm just seeing it in your eyes. And if you want to be my lover, put your body up onto mine. Oh, there's deeper meaning, baby. I see you in another place. Let time and color take their shape. I saw you coming, baby.